Hello, this is June. I am right now filming a video to show my process from beginning to end on how I go from a sketch to the finished result of a piece in Photoshop. For a while I've been using Paint Tool Sci, but I've decided that I would go back to Photoshop to show how I do my effects and basics of what I do. So this is how we begin. So what I usually do is when I scan a picture that I've hand drawn, I have my scanner set at a black and white photo. If you scan it as a color picture, sometimes specks of color pop up and I don't like seeing that, so I just scan it as black and white. And then I have it usually set between 300 to 600 dpi. But whatever your preference is, it's just, I just like having the picture big, so that way when I make it smaller it comes out a little more high resolution. So this is how I clean up, separate the white from the back, the white from the black. So separate the line art from the background. What I do is I go to the background, or I go to the layers panel and I double click on background, and I change the name of the layer to layer 1 for the purpose of what I'm doing. So if you're going to do the same thing as I do, then you should have the layer called layer 1. Now what I'm doing, because this is the fastest method I've found and very easy, I have in the Actions tab in Photoshop, I'm not sure up to which version you can use Actions for, but so I have all these actions that I've downloaded just off of DeviantArt. Here I have a folder called Remove White, which I downloaded off of DeviantArt and I've been using, and it's really a useful tool. There are settings to remove white and darken, generate layer masks. What I'm going to do is, just to make sure that all my lines are a solid black color, I'm going to pick Remove White, Lift, Darken. So I make sure that it's highlighted and I press the play button. And because I named the layer 1, the actions will work properly. Because if you don't name it layer 1, then something might go wrong and it won't end up looking as it should. Okay, so now I have the lines darkened and a transparent background. And something I do just to double check to make sure that there are no unwanted grays on the outside is I put a layer underneath and I fill it with white, and I go back to the line art layer, and then I go to select. Oh, before I do that, I have to make sure that before you do that, make sure that black is the main color you have, and then you go to select, color range, and here is the white is the selected color on the picture. So what I've done is I've selected all the black lines and made sure that fuzziness is at 200% to get everything that I need. If it was lower, I would only get certain amounts of the black color when I want all of the black color and none of the gray. So I have fuzziness set to 200, and then I select OK. And now all of the black is selected and the gray just remains unselected. And then what I do for this is I go to select, inverse, and then on the line art layer I simply delete. And I'm not sure how well you can see it on your screen, but on the picture the gray that was here turned to white. So now I only have black colors and white, which is exactly what I want. So this is how I do the basics of cleaning up my art. So now I'm going to show you how I do, how I prep for my coloring. For this purpose I have another image, and my line art and my white background are two separate layers. So what I'm going to do now is select the magic wand tool and select on the line art layer outside of the edges of the line art. And usually it would select for everything that I need, but sometimes you have to go in and make sure you get all the little spaces. I've selected all of the areas I wanted to fill in, and now I go to select inverse, and just so that everything is organized and I don't get confused, I'm going to create a folder or a new group, and then I will put all of the coloring in the group. So I will have the line art on the very top, my group for color, and you can name the groups if you want, and then my background white layer, which I might end up changing later on. But so now I've selected inside of the picture, and something that I do sometimes is I go to select, modify, contract by 1 or 2 pixels, just so that when I fill in it doesn't have this ugly edge that happens sometimes because of the magic wand selection. So I'll go to a kind of grayish green, and then I will take the paint bucket and fill it in. So now I have the white background, the color, and the line art, and then I will make one layer, right click, create clipping mask, and then go back onto the color layer and make several other layers underneath. That way, if I need to make another layer, I can just go to the color and select a new layer so I don't have to keep making clipping masks. And so now I have neatly organized my line art, my color, and my background layer. And then what I do from there is select the colors I think would go best, and then I just simply paint in. So this is the basics of what I do for starting off. What I do first is I fill in all the colors and then start adding shading and effects later. I'm probably not going to say how I do my shading or anything. I just thought I'd show how I do my basics to begin with. What I probably will do later on is show what I do for effects. For patterns and color and outlines and whatnot. So this is the end of the first part, and thanks for watching, and I hope what I showed you was of some use. See you next time.